Alright, so my phone shut off on me, ran out of battery. I was able to upload part one of everything I wanted to say. And so I watched part one, and I ended off where it's talked about the Xanax. That my good friend of mine was getting into Xanax, etc. So, a short little clip of what I'm doing here, just an overview of what I'm trying to do here is expose, you know, so many traps, snares that the young people go through growing up. The cool, the whole culture of being cool and whatnot, how it could lead you to death and hell, and how so many people are deceived and they give their life, blood, sweat, and tears over to that, only to get nothing in return, except a whole lot of drama, baggage, garbage, and maybe we'll get into that. But I'm trying to expose, um, the prison sentences that come later on, but how everything gets started when you're young. And I said the beginning of my story of when, of how the devil operates, and he tries to grab you when you're young, and your mind is impressionable. You believe just about anything. And so when you're looking at this world, and you're just looking at the world, you see nothing but possibilities. And you have a great big imagination. And so if you get the wrong information, and you get the wrong advice, you get the wrong mentor, let's say, wrong role model, that so many people do have, you know then your life can be sabotaged, destroyed. But when you're young, because you don't know any better, and there's no consequences right away, you'll embrace it with all your heart. But what a lot of people don't talk about is like sin. Once you embrace sin, so to speak, what does that mean? Let me pause right there. What does embrace sin mean? Well, the whole cool culture, when you're trying to be cool, doing wrong and doing bad is second nature to being cool. And so if you don't do bad, you're looked upon like, hey, you're a goody goody or what? And you're made fun of. That's when you know you've embraced sin. I'm gonna talk about the things that people don't talk about. I'm gonna expose everything. The people that are embracing sin, the violent people, the people they're always obnoxious in parties and drama, and they want to fight people, and um, people that are always getting into trouble, the people that are selling drugs and using drugs. Excuse me, I just finished eating. So I want to expose everything. And so what a lot of people don't talk about is the sleepless nights that come about after you do a binge of drugging. Yeah, nobody talks about how when you go to bed and everybody, hey, peace out, hey, yeah. Okay, that's it. Everybody went home at this point. And so when they go home, that's when their mind, their conscience, that's when they reflect on what they did or didn't do. That's when they have time with themselves, with their morals, their principles. That's when they feel on the inside like, I shouldn't have done that. Whatever it may have been. If you jumped somebody that day, or if you um, did a new drug, and now you're tripping, etc. And so nobody talks about that when you get with your boys the next day. You pick up where you left off. Nobody talks about their feelings. Nobody talks about their shortcomings or what they struggle with behind the scenes. You're not allowed to do that. You're soft if you do that. And people do it when they're drunk. And people do it when they're high sometimes. You'll have a heart to heart. and then the real feelings come out. But for the most part, people try to put that in the back burner, like, all right, let's forget we ever talked about that and let's keep it going. Because everything about that life is about image. Everything about image and reputation. And so the reputation is, for the most part, if you're trying to be the gangster, the thug, or whatever, then it's about being hard and tough. You don't cry, you don't show feelings, you fight, you're tough, and you're selfish, and you're a go-getter kind of thing. You get people's stuff. So, I want to pick up where I left off. I was 14 years old. That's when Xanax was being introduced by a buddy of mine. But behind the scenes, the devil was introducing himself in my life at this point, and demons were coming into my life. And I knew that demons were in my life, but I didn't know it at the same time. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I would look at myself in the mirror at around 14, 15 years old now, and I saw other eyes in my eyes. Maybe you're dealing with that. Those other eyes. These eyes, they look mean. These eyes, they weren't mine, because everybody knows who they are. When you look at your eyes, it's the gateway to your soul. So when you look at your eyes, you're able to track where you're at. Just by looking deep within your pupils, so to speak. And so I recall having this thing that I hid behind. Because I didn't have identity and because I didn't know who I was, I embraced this thing that I felt like was a bodyguard to me. Maybe you're dealing with that. It's a demon. So this thing that I saw its eyes, one of my eyes, I allowed it to happen because I was like, well, you know what? You seem to know what you're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I hardly know how to use my brain. I usually just eat whatever other people are thinking, so to speak. Like, I don't have my own thought process. I'm just like, give me whatever you think. Give me. I'm going to go with you, And there's a lot of people like that, where they don't think for themselves. You know what I mean? And if they do think for themselves, they're challenged on their thinking, right? Like, you're stupid. You really think that? And all of a sudden, they second guess their thought process. Now they become more inclined to be dependent on whoever that is. So that became your leader right now. Whoever that guy is, they became your leader, because you second guess your own the way you see stuff, right? And you take their version of truth and you apply it to your life, and you walk out their version of what truth is to them. And I did that. And so I just remember that there was something. It was, the best way I could describe it was like an aura. How do you describe this? It was something that was in front of me that made me feel safe, and it made me feel protected by it. And you know what would happen? A lot of the time, people that would look at me and they'll be scared of me. And I would get off on that. That's how you know you have a demon. People would look at me and they would be scared of me. And I loved it, because I fed off of that fear that people had for me. Because I just thought that I didn't know it was a demon. I just thought, like, I'm a badass, I'm tall, I'm tough. Remember, I have that mentality, I'm cool, and people are scared of me. I love it. I was eating it up. At this point, I didn't belong to myself anymore, man. I wasn't running the show as much as I thought I was. I was not running the show at this point. I was a slave to sin. Okay, addictions had ruled over my life at this point, meaning I had to wake up and do things like smoke cigarettes, and pop pills and do other things like that, on a normal basis, just to function. I was slowly but surely dropping out of school, getting in trouble every single day, and racking up sins, right? At the same time, okay, what kept me going in this sinister behavior was all the applause that I would get from the public. People that were my age, you know, they would talk a lot about me, and they would esteem me in these actions. And I have no identity, so I'm clinging on to these words of affirmation. And they're saying, you know, what used to work on me was, man, you're crazy. Dog, you're crazy. Like, they used to say that, and for some reason, I used to love that. And I'm like, yeah, I am crazy, you know? And then I would push the marker, like, to do crazy things. And that was a demon inside of my life that was trying to kill me. The way it was trying to kill me was use this word crazy and do stupid stuff that could get you killed. Like drive against oncoming traffic and drive on the sidewalks and drive drunk and do all these other things that I used to do on a normal basis. All because I was a big attention seeking guy. But yeah, demons would fuel me, and demons, uh, what I remember them being was when you say demons, when you say the devil and Satan, like their mind, it tries to track down, like, what does he look like? What does he act like? What does he talk like? Trust me, it's not what you think it is. Like, for the most part, in the beginning, they come off like they're your best friends, and they come off like something that you desire and you want, especially when you haven't had a breaking of the ice to know God yet and to know anything. So when that's the initiation, and they're introducing themselves in your life first, they're not coming with horns, a pick, axe, and they're not coming scary. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that right now. They're not coming like that. They have personalities. They're smart, and they have strategy. So they've been at this for millions of years. They've been here for a long time. So, you know, understand that when they come at you, they come to sweep you off your feet, so to speak, and come like in a way, in a sense, as like something that you embrace. Surely I did. I embraced it. Remember I talked about last video the voice that I heard in my head that cussed out the weather woman on the television. I thought it was my voice in my head. It was the first voice that I had ever heard in my head, right? Talk about mental illness and all that. It's demons. Mental illness, the definition of mental illness is that you're going through spiritual warfare. That's what it is. And so schizophrenia and all that kind of stuff is spiritual warfare. And so you need deliverance. So, and I've been diagnosed as that. So I know firsthand. So I don't want to get lost. So yeah, I heard the voice. I heard the voice for the first time, and I embraced that voice because to me, I was trying to be cool. It was cussing. It was using foul language, and I was just like thinking it was me, right? And I was going with the flow. Now, as I went with the flow, like I said, I felt like there was an aura in front of me. There was eyes that weren't my own, and people were starting to be scared of me, etc. My behavior was taking on a new turn. I was doing things in extremes. You know, I got started, stealing a box of donuts from Serrano's. And I went from that to little by little. You climb those ranks. Understand that the devil, you climb the ranks by doing worse things, right? You got to start somewhere. So I started with a box of donuts. But, I was stealing a lot. By the end of my journey with the devil, I was stealing a lot of jewelry from everybody in my family and strangers as well. A lot of money, a lot of I was pawning everything in my like. If you let me in your house, like I was scanning the area to see what I could take. If you had booze, I was gonna take it. If you had jewelry, I was gonna take it. If you had money, I was gonna take it. If you had anything that I could sell, I was gonna take it. And so, um, a lot of people didn't let me in their houses, or they would have to stick with me. They would have to like babysit me, so to speak. Like, they couldn't leave and go to a room because I would just like look for stuff to take. So at that point, I had a demon that was this obsession with stealing was in my life. Right, couldn't go anywhere without stealing something. It was an obsession, and so you know, just as a side note, now I put money in people's wallets. Now, like when my mom is not looking, I put money in her purse when she's not looking. Now I buy my everybody jewelry. You know what I mean? Um, I'm just a different person, but I'm trying to pay back what I all the harm I did. Um, I can never pay back. I was Baker acted a few times. Did a lot of bad things. So, um, so those demons forces, those demon forces behind the scenes that were pushing me and accelerating me to do worse things. And I recall that they would set me up many times to fall, fail, and become more and more depressed, more and more um, withdrawn, isolation. There would these same voices that once spoke to me, um, amping me up and lifting me up over a period of years. Those same voices changed. And now these voices, I tell you what, guys, I can never ever tell you to what degree they take this, because I could tell you how bad it was. I could try. I could tell you like, man, they used to call me names. They used to put me down. My self-esteem was low. I used to hear these voices, and they used to, you know, basically mock me and make fun of me and put me down. I could tell you, bro, but I tell you the truth, bro. Like, you have no idea. They take you to lengths that are so far beyond what this world. Okay, like if you go to the gym as an example, or you play a sport, and I'd say run as fast as you can from here to the base. Let's say I was the coach, and I say run from here to the base and back. I want to see how fast you go. I'm gonna give you like a little example of how it is in the spiritual realm. And you run, and you're running as fast as you can, right? Because you think it's a game, right? And you ran and you did your job. You did what I asked you to do. In the spiritual realm, you got whips whipping you, telling you to do what they tell you to do, but they're whipping you, simultaneously putting you down, simultaneously, like, really, it takes it to another extreme, more extreme than what the mind can conceive. Because you and I both, when things get a little hard and you're pushing that last rep in the gym and you think that 15 was good enough, in the spiritual realm, they will push you 1,000 reps, 2,000 reps. You think 15? You don't get a break. You don't get. No. You don't understand. I can't put it in words. You don't understand. You're abused is not the word. It's not even the word. So I'm just trying to give you a slight, faint idea of what the tormentors are like in the spiritual realm, and how they recruit you, but then how do they destroy you afterwards. And the destroying process, let me just tell you, like, it's a thing that happens from within. They live inside of you. And so they're doing the work inside. And they're destroying you little by little. And they'll tempt you to do the wrong thing, and they'll condemn you for doing that thing they tempted you to do. So steal that bottle of booze. You're such a piece of crap. You're the scum of the earth. You know that? And then because it's saying it from within, it's almost like you think that you're telling yourself that. You know what I used to do on a daily basis? I used to punch myself. I used to cut myself, burn myself. I used to dream about suicide on a daily basis. Suicide for me was like a mouth-watering experience. I really wanted to do it because I wanted to get out of this whole torment thing. Telling you the truth, it's really bad. And so you see those people that cut themselves and whatnot. You hear those stories. They're going through a lot of spiritual warfare on the inside. I just want to let those people know, if you're listening, I want to let you know that there's deliverance. Deliverance from those things. That there is help, there's hope. It's not help and hope in pills or a psychologist or therapist. Do that. Go for it. I don't care. But I'm telling you, your help comes from Jesus Christ. Your help comes from baptism. Your help comes from like renouncing those forces that are in your house. Because this is our house. Like this is our vessel. And they're in your vessel. And so you have to renounce them. Give them the boot. Give them the eviction notice. Tell them, get out in Jesus' name. Because Jesus' name is the name that is above every name. And it's the only name that they obey. It's the only name that they're scared of. It's the only name that they will respond to. If you say get out, they're going to laugh at you. You say get out in Jesus' name. You know what they told me when I started to pray to Jesus a long time ago? I heard one voice say, stop saying that name. And they said something to the degree of, that name is evil or something like that. Because in their world, they're evil, but they consider themselves to be the opposite, right? I mean, they're good in their own eyes. And we're evil, right? Anyways, long story short, I recalled the voices being so loud in my head, so obnoxious, having conversations with one another, that I was banging my head against the wall just to shut those voices up. And what I would do is I would go to Walgreens and drink a whole bottle of NyQuil along with NyQuil pills. Okay, I'll down the whole bottle to get drowsy enough to go back to sleep. After sleeping 17 hours, I would do that. And I would down the whole bottle of NyQuil just to get drowsy enough to go back to sleep because the voices were so loud, it wasn't even funny. Imagine full-blown conversations happening in your head at a volume that you can't think. So what do? Well, I'm going to the liquor store. I'm going to get these voices to shut up. Go, 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 go. That's what I would do every day. And pop a bunch of pills. And then the voices would subside. And I would but guess what? I was miserable. So miserable. My head would popping out of my head. I used to walk like this everywhere. Even bigger than this. Like my eyes were this big. And I used to scare people on a regular, and that wasn't me high. That was just how I was. I was traumatized. I was out of it, guys. And so, like, on the inside, nobody can understand the war that was going on. I didn't understand, but I just knew what I felt. And then I would go to therapists and try to explain myself, and they're like, "This guy has issues, bro." Like, give him this pill, give him that pill. Like, they didn't know what to do with me. In the end, they diagnosed me manic depressive, psychotic, schizophrenic, and bipolar. And I'm pretty sure some other things. But those are the things I remember. And I was on every pill in the market. And the pills, what they did was they kind of helped with the voices a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And the voices is what would egg me on to go and steal. The voices. Okay, for example, I'm ashamed of this. This is my story though, and you know, in order to help people, I gotta share it. So like, I would be in my room at night, and I would see like dark shadows coming and going, and it would be pretty scary. And so like, I had like a cross on my room, and that little cross that I had on my room made me feel somewhat okay. I used to play Christian music at night, and that would make me feel good too. Um, and every now and again, God did pay me visits. Like, because I would pray to God even in my mess, man. I would say, God, man, I was a believer, and but I was just living like super bad, like a big thief and the whole thing, right? So I would see these dark shadows and whatnot, and to the point where they were so visible that I slept a lot with a lot of lights on, because I wanted that comfort of the lights being on. I didn't want to see these dark shadows. It would grab me and touch me at night and whatnot, and I would hear them in my voice, and I would feel their hot breath at night. So my life was really, really, bro, it was bad, man. And I know a lot of people are going through this too, man. Because you know why? Why was all that happening to me? One word: sin. SIN, sin. What is sin? Sin is mainly what the world calls normal these days. Living for pleasure. Most things that are pleasurable are sinful in these days, in this day and age. Like, for example, drinking, getting drunk, and going and having sex. Those things are pleasurable. Smoking weed, and getting, like, all that kind of realm. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. The realm of all that. I'm not talking, if pleasure is like playing dominoes and talking and being with your family. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sinister stuff. Okay, stuff that hurts you and hurts others, and it's a violation of God's law. Those things. So, long story short, you know, remember, I had given my life over to this at a young age. The demon came in, and I embraced it. People are scared of me, looking at me now, because other eyes are looking. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on, but I know that I definitely believe that ghosts and this and that are real. That's where I'm at, kind of thing, at that point. I saw so many things going on, things, move by themselves and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, ghosts are real, bro. And I was scared a lot of the time. I was fearful because, like I said, they would touch me, grab me, and talk to me and all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I would hear my voice being called and nobody was in the house. I was just like, dude, this is crazy, man. So I'm just gonna go on with the story because I'm gonna end it soon. Maybe make a part 3, but this video is getting a little long. And so I'm just gonna say, like, whew, how the devil was attacking me and trying to get me to commit suicide was a daily thing. I used to burn myself and really be really, really mean to me, but there was demons that hated me. And I used to remember, I used to look at myself in the mirror, look at me, I used to look at myself and say, I hate you. I hate you. And I thought it was me saying that, but it was a demon saying that through me. And so many people think that they're dealing with demons, but they think that it's themselves. And so I had so many demons inside of me that I didn't know who I was or what I was. I thought I was a demon because I had embraced them, and then I became one with them, from living with them so long that I didn't know the difference between their voice and my voice, their thoughts and my thoughts. I didn't know. I really genuinely didn't know. And so for me, it was really, really, really tough, man. When I was getting delivered from demons and they were casting them out, I felt like they were trying to cast me out, you know? And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, you're saying get out. Like, I was trying to be in control so much. Because the demons give you this false sense of you being in control, right? But really, they're in control. But you think you're in control. And really, the whole control thing is to stress you out. It's to make you go crazy because you're really, the things that you think that you're in control of, it's impossible to be in control of other people, as an example. It's impossible to be in control of the world and like just stuff that They want you to believe that you're in control of. So, you know, long story short, guys, because I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna end this one. Um, when they started to deliver me, I started to understand that these are the things that were running my life, and and as they came out one by one, I started to feel like I could breathe better. And I could breathe better, and I felt lighter on the inside. And imagine like your tormentors being casted out. Like, it's a very good feeling, and it was the initiation to my salvation. Um, but nobody told me a thing about this world being so spiritual. Nobody told me a thing about this world being like the sin equals these things coming inside. I'm pretty sure, bro, that if everybody was given an understanding when they come into the world, if 5-year-olds can be given a class in school and say, listen, this world is very spiritual, um, and if you sin, you are contacting spirits, and spirits start to react to your lifestyle. Some spirits, they want you right off the back without you doing anything. So don't just think that, oh, sin. No, there's spirits out there that, hey, I like the way she looks, I'm gonna use her, I'm gonna make her into a prostitute, and I'm gonna make this guy into a murderer. That's the way they think, and that's what they see when they see you. They see potential. They see, oh, I'm gonna make this guy do a bunch of bad stuff. Watch this, and then they come inside of your life through your deeds or through your parents' deeds. And the way to get them out is through renouncing and asking Jesus Christ into your life, and then living a righteous life to where you don't give them legal ground to use you. And that's really what people call religion. Like, oh, religion is like a bunch of set of rules and laws and regulations and this and that. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do it. The whole thing that I'm trying to convey to you is that you can do whatever you want. You are a free agent, you are free will. But you don't want to do those things, because if you do it, you become a slave to those things, and you inhabit your house becomes a temple for demons to dwell in. And then you basically manifest demons, and you hurt people, and your life is being hurt on the inside. You're not fulfilled, you're not happy, you're not satisfied, your conscience is against you. You go to hell on the end of the day. And it's like, no, you know what they call it, they labeled it religion, but really it's like for your own good, right? You don't sin because you understand that the consequences are not worth it. You know what I'm saying? The cheeseburger tastes good, but it gives diabetes over a period of time. French fries, they taste good, but heart disease is a real thing. And so sin tastes good when you do it. Everybody agrees that sin tastes good, but the aftermath, the after effects, is what's deadly, that people do not talk about. And that's what I'm talking about. The aftermath, the after effects of sin is the demons coming, inhabiting your vessel. Your conscience is, the aftermath. Everybody talks about it. The homelessness, the jail time, the being separated from your children, being separated from all that is a product of sin. Because if you did things God's way, then your life would be with the sun coming out, the sunny skies, birds chirping in the background, lemonade in your backyard, and a hammock. That's what God's life is all about. It's peace, joy, harmony. Because you're not doing anybody harm, and you're not harming yourself. So what are you doing? You're a law-abiding citizen. You're responsible. And you're a helper. You're a helper of mankind. So wherever people need help, you're helping them. So imagine living a life like that. What is your conscience going to be telling you? Well, I'll tell you what my conscience tells me now. I promise you. This is what I hear now about me. You're a king. I hear that. You're a king. You matter. You're important. You're special. And you're a blessing. These are the what I hear now. But what I heard then was the opposite. Right? When I was When I was in sin, I heard the opposite and much worse. And now I hear these things and much better things too. So that's the difference. That's the difference. You know, now I hear God's voice. Before I used to hear the devil's voice, right? So 35 minutes in, you know, God loves you and He wants a relationship with you. And He's ready and willing and able to save your soul. And all you have to do is reach out to Him. And when you reach out to Him, mean it with your heart. Because that's the secret ingredient that gets God's reaction. If it's just words, He'll wait till you're really ready. But if you're really ready and you really want it, He'll meet you right now. And you don't even have to wait. And it's not a special selective words, it's just talking from your heart. He'll meet you where you're at and He'll save your soul. And He'll get those demons way out of your life. And He'll bring people, just like the devil brings people to you, God will bring people to you. And He'll surround you full of people that are helpers, right? Like you're watching this video because God wanted you to watch this video, right? And those moments where you wanted to click off and not watch it anymore, that was the devil saying, man, we don't want them to get help. And they irk you and they urge you and they pull you, they tug you, the phone rings, the door gets knocked on. You know, all of a sudden this, you know, things spontaneously happen to where you can't really receive your blessing. That's the spiritual life, man. That's the devil. And so it's real. And I just want to leave you with that. I want to let you know that God is after you, and He really, you know, thank God that He is stronger than everything else. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not hard for Him to save you. And so you definitely want salvation. God bless you. Thank you so much.